What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this one, we continue showing making Poppy Playtime Chapter 2 in Minecraft. This is part 24, and in this one we're doing most of musical memory, getting all the walls and ceiling and stuff laid out. We're just kind of missing these things in the middle here, along with Mommy's little room up there, and I think that's literally it. But yeah, with that being said, enjoy the tutorial, and I will catch you on the flip side. Let's get right back at it, shall we? This room is going to be fun depending on how you look at it. I don't look at it as fun, though. You want to start by getting out for it. Stone, mud, gray wool, which is a weird one. I don't really use that very often. Gray concrete, sea lanterns, glow item frames, and then you need the 3 big boys of wool colors. So red wool, yellow wool, and light blue wool. We're going to do kind of a mid-transition with some of this stuff, specifically like the beginning half. Although we will need these 3 in gray concrete for almost the entire room. So, starting from the drum, we will... Well, no, we'll mark out the front wall, I think. So if you take the, like, doorway of gray concrete, just underneath the 5 gray concrete, you'll place a row of red wool. Then a row of gray concrete, but in the center block, you're going to leave it open for a sec. Because in the center block, you want a sea lantern with a glow item frame off the inside of it. Underneath the aforementioned sea lantern, you want to place 5 mud. Extend this row of mud to the left and right by 1 row each, and then place a row of gray wool off the sides of that. We're going to use the, I guess, entrance of the room as the back wall for just a brief moment of time as we kind of make the, I guess, layout of this room. So, you're doing the same thing on both sides for now. You're going to take this row of gray wool and extend it out with 3 rows of mud off the both left and right. I guess both gray wool rows, now that I'm thinking about it, but whatever, it's besides the point. You'll then go out from there with a row of gray concrete. Go toward you diagonally in by 2 with mud, or out rather, not in, sorry. This room is like a kind of, what's the six-sided one called? God, hexagon shape, there we go. And then from there you'll bring that row of mud towards you by 1 row. Then go toward you diagonally out with a row of gray wool. Then we're gonna just call it forward with a row of mud. I think that is just going to be easier on my brain and yours. Go forward diagonally out with another row of mud. Forward 1. Forward diagonally out with a row of gray wool. And then forward with a row of mud. Forward diagonally out 1. I'm just going to place the bottom row for a sec. Forward 1. And then this is where it'll end up ending on this last block here, which will be forward diagonally out with a gray concrete. This is where the sides get different, so we can bring up the walls from there. We're not including the floor row again because I don't really see the need if we're making the walls off of the walls themselves anyway, so we're not including the floor in this room. I generally don't because I do think it's easier, well, it makes more sense to not fill it in that way, if that kind of makes, well, sense. Crazy. This is where it gets a little bit strange. So you are going to have to bear with me here for just a split second. We'll use the right side because the right side's the easier side. And so from this row of gray concrete, I'm just going to make the base row for the rest of this so we can go through it a little bit quicker and then just fill it. You're going to go forward diagonally left 1. Forward 1, this is with mud, by the way. Forward diagonally left 1, and forward with a gray wool. Forward diagonally left with a mud. Forward 1. Forward diagonally left with a mud. Forward with a gray wool. Forward diagonally left with a mud. Forward 1. Forward diagonally left with a mud, and then forward diagonally left with a gray concrete. You'll go forward with 3 mud and then another gray concrete, which is sort of a placeholder. Then go left with 2 mud, gray wool, 3 mud, gray wool, 3 mud, gray wool, 3 mud, and then again a placeholder gray concrete. then go back with a gray wool, 2 mud, then you'll go back diagonally left with a mud, back with a gray wool, back diagonally left with a mud, back 1, back diagonally left 1, back with a gray wool, back diagonally left with a mud, back 1, back diagonally left 1, back with a gray wool, back diagonally left 1, back 2, and right 1 should connect into the gray concrete. I'm telling you, the shaping is weird on this part. I don't quite understand it, but it is how it is, I guess. You'll extend each mud, gray wool, or gray concrete up by 4 that you haven't already, so they're all the same height. And yeah, hopefully everyone is having a good day or night. I am, for the most part. Love recording these back to back. At least these rooms are interesting. After Reject Room, it's like, it's going to be a little bit of a lull, because it's just a bunch of quartz bricks hallways. But then after that, at least I get a break again, and I get to record some other horrific map, probably. That I'm sure won't be any easier, but you know, you win some and you lose some, I guess. But these are cool maps, and they're fun, so. Just certain areas and rooms of them, I'm like, why? Why am I doing this, you know? Especially this one. I mean, this one's fun, don't get me wrong, but, oh man, it's a lot. A lot of blocks, a lot of builds, a lot of rooms, a lot of things going on. Why am I... Oh, because the mud is shorter, right, I forgot about that. Huh, funny. Anyway, you should have this. This is going to be a weird one because we're going to have to destroy some of it and some of it's going to be useless, but I just recommend placing a gray concrete on top of each block from there that we don't already have something on top of, I guess. We are going to have to eventually kind of almost shapen this out to a perfect hexagon, because this particular like portion of it isn't the bottom layer, only the top is for some reason. I don't really know why there's like hallways and stuff down here, but whatever, honestly, just... Like, what is this shape, honestly? What am I looking at? Anyway, the gray concrete on the right side is a good, I think... It's a good... What's the word I'm looking for here? It's a good, model. Role model. You will... Before we end up worrying about the, horrific left side, you want to take the, like, row of 5 gray concrete here on the kind of front right from, again, the angle we're using where that's the back wall. And you'll just take the furthest back block and connect it all the way left with gray concrete. It should just connect into literally nothing. You will take the... This is a fun one. You will essentially kind of trace to that gray concrete there and you'll bring it down. You should have 3 gray concrete to your left as well that are visible from the underside here. And then this will just bring down by 5. So it's the same height down. And from this gray concrete here at the top, you're going to go back diagonally left by 2. Back 1. Back diagonally left 1. Back 1. And you're just going to keep doing these rows of 2 all the way until you should end up connecting into the kind of gray concrete diagonally there. And if you look at the shape now, kind of try to hone in on the gray concrete. Specifically, it's more of a perfect hexagon. And it should pretty much be a perfect hexagon, I think. I believe that should be centered. Although, what do I know anyway? You're going to end up filling in the kind of, I guess, sealing in these little misfit parts on the outside here in with gray concrete. Can you tell I don't like the way this room is, like, shaped? I don't get it. I really don't. Having it be a hexagon in general is weird enough, but having whatever the heck is going on in this segment of the room makes less sense to me. Anyway, the floor is stone. We might as well fill that in. It's a block below the bottoms of the walls. You're just filling in the whole thing. Weird shapes included, I guess. But yeah. And then we can actually start to do some of the detailing here. Yeah. I guess overall, how's everybody feeling at this point in the tutorial? Whoever is watching at this part. Just where's your mind on the overall, you know, size and amount of parts this is going to have? I am kind of just curious because this is certainly a large tutorial and just kind of really the first that's going to be more than like what, 15 parts probably. Really don't have much. I mean, probably Playtime would have been 15 had I or the original, I guess chapter 1 would have been 15 had I structured it the same as this one. But still just, you know, where's the thought process? I am kind of curious on how everybody's feeling. I'm feeling pretty good, I think, so far. It does make it nice for me that I've already built it, so not like I'm struggling through that process, but, you know, it is also tough having to build a project as big as this twice, you know? But, yeah, overall, I'm having a good time. Some of these rooms I really don't want to do, but, you know, it'll be fine, surely. Like, when I was starting this, or after I finished molding room just before this, I, like, sat there and I was like, musical memory time. It's one of the funner rooms, but at the same time, the wall pattern alone is not gonna agree with me, you know? Anyway, you should end up with this. There are some lights that are perfectly centered, actually. So we already have one on the front wall here. And if you kind of take where this is and you just trace it all the way back, you'll have a sea lantern in the same spot on this row of gray concrete, which I believe is there. Sea lantern with a glow item from off the front. The top isn't important, and the bottom we'll worry about later. There are 4 more, and they are on each of the diagonals of the gray strip. And this one will be fairly easy to figure out. On both sides, you'll take the one diagonal, like this kind of furthest out gray concrete, and from it you'll count out 3 2 diagonals. So first, second, third. And you'll take the outer gray on this block and replace it with a sea lantern with a glow item frame off the outside. And you're doing the same thing on all 4 kind of wedges, I guess, so. Or I guess all 4 areas, the 2 wedges. So 1, 2, 3, outermost one, bam. 1, 2, 3, outermost one, bam. I think that's all the lighting in this room, like, in general. I don't really think there's anything else going on as far as that is concerned. Yeah, I mean, well, no, that room doesn't even have a light either. At least, I think it does when Mommy's in it, the, like, room at the top. But other than that, get rid of your glow item frames, sea lanterns, mud, and gray wool. And I'm going to pull everything forward. I don't want to reorganize it, but I'll pull everything forward like that. And get out dark oak trap door, block of iron, polished deep slate slabs, and is there really anything else that's going to be helpful here? Guess we can get out the deep slate tile stairs. I was going to not, but might as well. So, under these sea lanterns that have nothing under them, you'll just place a dark oak trapdoor just hanging out. Like so. Now it's time for the walls, which are not going to be fun. So I think first, each of the gray concrete strips that we have, you can extend them up by really as high as you want, frankly. I'm going to say 11 up. So you see I have this here. I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We can actually do it by wall if we do this, which I think will make our lives a bit easier. But yeah, just each of the pillars here. There should be, I think, 6 in total. Some of these we'll have to bring up more, but we'll worry about that once we get there. And you should have this, because you do know we get very close to the game station here again. Everything fits. Barely, but it all fits. So we will start with the wall you enter from, and we're going to go left to right row by row on it. And do the following. Hold on, I need to... Oh, actually, there is no wall there. That's fantastic. So, okay. This is going to be questionable, but the left 2 rows we're actually going to leave open. There's a pipe here, and I just didn't fill them in, so why would I now? On this next row, we're just going to go up, actually, from this, and we'll place the following. We'll go 5 red wool, 3 yellow wool, and 2 light blue wool. And then above that is where the walls become polished deep set, at least at this point. I think it goes up higher. Yeah, it goes up higher on the other side. On the right 3 rows, we'll actually go the same thing, starting from the far right and just going left each row. And so, well, each of these 3 are the same. You'll start with 3 red wool, then go 3 yellow wool, 2 light blue wool, and then you'll end with 2 red wool. The top row of red you will extend to the left by 4. And then the rest of this area you're just filling in with light blue wool on this wall. We kind of have the same thing going on that we had in, what's it called? Molding room, but this one works a little bit differently, so I feel like it is going to be better to do a block for block. So, we're going to look to the right and focus on this little diagonal wall right here. And first off, the entire bottom row is just red wool on top of gray concrete, or the sea lantern. The next row is a red on the left and right, in the middle is all gray concrete. And we'll start actually with this shape because this will punch out a lot of what we need. So, you'll take the gray concrete on either side, the end ones, and extend them up by 7. The middle gray concretes can need to be brought up with 6 blocks of iron, and then you'll have a gray concrete on the top to just close all this off. And yeah, that'll give you another wall, yippee. Hoping we can do the entire room in this part. We're 15 minutes in, and at least of the tutorial itself. I don't really care about the intro when I'm talking about the length of it. So, on the left row, you're going to bring this red up by 1. And then from there on, both reds will do the same thing. You'll place 3 yellow, 2 light blue, and then 2 red. In addition, the right one will go up with the following. It'll be 2 light blue, 3 yellow, and then 4 red. And I'm going to bring this gray concrete diagonal up to the same height, just because. Actually, I'll go one further again. I'll go one further. So the left 3 rows have no business, or I guess left 4 rows technically. So on these first 3 gray concretes, you're going to place a singular red wool. Then you're going to go over with 3 light blue, and then 3 red wool. You can place blocks on top of these if you'd like to, just kind of cut them off. I'll place gray concrete on top of them, the reds on the far left. And starting from this light blue, you're going to place 2 red wool on each light blue. And then on these next 2 red, you'll just place 1 red each. And from this point, you're going to do the same kind of thing. You're placing 2 light blue on each red. And then 3 yellow on top of that. And then just however many red it takes to get to the same height, which is either going to be 3, 2, or 1. And you should have this. The next wall is a bit of a strange one, actually. I'm going to start by taking this gray concrete diagonal and bringing it up to the same height as that one over there, which would be there. That one, no, it was one too high, darn. Doesn't really matter. It's all kind of inferencing for that. But looking at this wall, you're going to go left to right, and you will place... Hold on, I'm bad at math. 8 red, again, just kind of following that diagonal, and then 3 yellow. You'll bring the leftmost 2 reds up by 1 each, and then you'll take, out of the yellows, you'll leave the far right one open. The middle one will be brought up by 1, and the left one will be brought up by 2. And then from there, on top of each red, you'll place 3 yellow. So yeah, we're not doing this quite block for block, but... Well, I guess it's block for block to the original build, but we're not doing it quite block for block as far as pattern-wise. Although this is where it becomes strange. So start with 2 light blue on top of each yellow. Because this isn't actually perfect. The furthest right 3 rows of light blue, you'll bring up an additional 1, so they are rows of 3. And then on top of that, you're going to place 2 rows of red wool on each light blue, except on the far left, you're going to leave not the actual furthest left row open, but the one to the right of it, you're only placing 1 red on top of. In that corner, you're placing a gray concrete, and it's going to end up getting brought along this by 8 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In this little corner, you can actually place light blue. So on the far right row, you'll place 2 light blue, and on this one, you'll place a light blue on the red. You'll have a yellow to the side of the gray concrete, and then either end of gray concrete can be brought up by 6. You can get rid of your dark oak trapdoors, and I guess your stone. I wasn't going to get rid of it, but we might as well. And get out black stained glass and tinted glass. And so, going left to right on top of these middle gray concrete, you'll place the following pattern. You'll go 3 black glass, a tinted glass, and then 3 black glass. Each glass from there can be brought up by 4. Tinted glasses just add some variation in it. You'll see it used, I think, differently in statues, but I know it is the same in Whack-A-Wuggy or very similar. I might have used pans, though, so it might be different. I don't remember. Place gray concrete on top of all the glass, but you can see you have that variation. It's very subtle, but it is noticeable. Okay, so on the right side, you want to take this yellow wool and extend it up with 2 yellow and then 5 red. On the left, you'll extend this red up with 2 light blue, 3 yellow, and then 2 red, and you'll just place a red on top of each gray concrete. There's like a pipe or something here that actually blocks the top 2 rows of this. If you really want, you can just bring the red wool up by 2 rows, just to kind of fill it out a little bit more, but it is up to you. It's not actually technically required, and you could do the same thing there if you wanted, but yeah. On the back wall, we have some interesting things going on. And there's something I will mention, but it will kind of be something that I'm not actually going to put, and you'll see why, but it is on the original. Going left to right, you're going to place 2 light blue wool, and the rest of the row is just yellow. I don't know the number, but it's more than 2. It's 9. On the far left and far right wools, you'll bring each one up with a light blue, and then just place gray concrete in the middle, like whatever that number is, 9 it should be again. Extend either side of gray up by 7. And then you'll connect the top gray concretes together and fill in the, like, 7 by 6, I think it is, in the center. And with block of iron. If you're in survival or something and are looking at this like, why use quartz? But, again, don't build this in survival. I'm begging you. Okay, so, just real quick. On the right side, you'll bring this light blue wool up an additional 1. Also, before we continue, actually, I'm going to take this gray concrete strip on the right and just bring it up to the same height as that one over there, which should be there, according to my calculations, and I'm correct. From this point, you're doing the same on both sides. You're going up with 2 red on either light blue, then 2 light blue, and then 3 yellow. The far right yellow that sticks up by 1, you can just extend to the left by 7. And the top of the wall from this point is all just red wool. Now, we have the wall that sticks out here, so the right 4 rows are kind of going to be irrelevant. I actually don't know why I brought that up then. That was kind of dumb. But yeah, I guess I'll just shorten it again. That's fine. But yeah, the right, I believe 4 yellow are going to be left alone. And again, I'll place the gray concrete on top of them just so you kind of know. But everything else above it here is red to the same height as what we've kind of done on the wall to our left right now. Not sure why there's like 2 layers like this. I feel like, again, it just would make sense to have it all the same height. But I guess, no. It's too easy. Next wall. This one. Yeah, we won't be able to finish this room probably, but that's okay. Going along this diagonal, you're going to place 3 light blue wool. And then just 8 red wool. Next row, you'll place a light blue here on the far left, and then you'll leave the next 2 light blue open, and starting from this red, you'll place 5 gray concrete. Extend either side of gray concrete up by 5, and connect them together along the diagonal with upside down polished deep slate slabs. You'll just kind of, just make sure that you're in line with the gray concrete below. In this, you're placing deep slate tile stairs. Now, if you're looking at it, you're going to take the right row of gray concrete and extend it left with 2 rows of deep slate tile stairs that face towards you. Left of that, you'll probably want a placeholder for this, but you'll want a row of stairs facing kind of into that previous row, like so. And then in front of that far left row of stairs, you'll place a row of stairs facing forward. Left of that, you will need some gray concrete just to kind of fill in the gap. Actually, you don't actually need it from the top one, do you? Yeah, no, that blocks it off. And that'll help me make sure that I don't place anything on the wrong row, because, you know, I would do that. Anyway, we can go back to the pattern. On the left 3 light blue, you're placing 2 red wool per block. From this point, each red wool that is applicable, which obviously would exclude these 5 here, you're going to bring up with 2 light blue wool. Then up from there, you'll place 3 yellow wool. And it's just red wool from there until the top. So at the far left, it's 1 up. And then, you know, the rest will just kind of be whatever, however many. This includes over the doorway. There's nothing going on above it for once, which is always nice. Yeah, you should have this. The final pattern, or the final wall. Anyway, on this wall, you want to go left to right, and you're going to do the following. You will place 5 red, 3 light blue, and 3 yellow. Bring the yellow on the far right up by 2, and the red on the left up by 1. I guess in addition on this left red, you're going to bring it up with 2 light blue, and then 3 more yellow. And then 3 red, just cause. We'll actually take the yellow on the right and extend it up with 2 light blue, 2 red, 2 light blue, and a yellow. At the bottom here, you're going to place a row of gray concrete in the center. Yet again, you're extending the sides up by 7. And then you're placing your 6 rows of iron along with the row of gray on top. And then we'll tell you how to fill in the top, because this one isn't just plain red. For once. The right 2 blocks are yellow wool above these 2 gray, and then the rest is actually just red. So, yeah. And those are all your walls. This was a nightmare to make originally, and it really proved to be any less in the tutorial. Anyway, we're going to bring each gray concrete pillar in with some blocks, and that's pretty much it. Except not actually all of them. We're going to bring in the ones that aren't brought up, any additional ones, which would be all of them but these 2, I guess, between these walls. So we'll start with the one on either front, kind of, or either side of this wall that you enter from. We're calling this the front now because it actually is the front, and it's just going to be easier for now. You're going to take this top gray and extend it back by 2. It should be a block above the wool wall height, like so. You're then going to go back diagonally in 1, back 1, back diagonally in 1, back 1, and then back diagonally in 1, and back 1. It's as far as that goes. At the far right, you're taking the gray concrete, which should again be just sticking up a little bit here, and you're extending it in by 8, or left. Then this back right pillar you'll bring back with 2 gray. Back diagonally, or forward diagonally left, I guess, rather than back. Forward. Forward diagonally left, forward, forward diagonally left, and forward. You should notice they're fairly close to where the, like, drum is, kind of, if you line them up. They're not quite there, but they're close to it. They might actually be quite there, I'm not really sure. It does look like they aren't, but, you know, I guess they kind of are. If you'd follow the diagonal, you'd end up on the drum on all of them. Except for this one on the right, because that one's a loser, I'm just kidding. But, yeah. You should have this. Where even is, like, the next step from here? I don't know. Get out, or clear your inventory. That's the next step. And get out the following. Polished deep slate. Cyan terracotta. Cobbled deep slate. Cobbled deep slate stairs. Polished deep slate slabs. This is such a weird, like, thing. Polished deep slate walls. Black concrete. And we might just go with that for now. I don't really think there's anything else. Well, I guess polished diorite will be useful. And maybe stone. Maybe. Not 100% positive on that one. So, starting from these gray concretes, we're going to take the rightmost one because I think that's the best one to start with. And you actually probably want to bring it in with another gray concrete, which we don't have. That's cool. You can't see the block anyway, so I'm going to just place a cyan terracotta, I guess. You're then going to extend it left by 1. So yeah, I think I am going to actually make this a gray just because it doesn't have to be, but it is up to you because there's an andesite under blocking it. And this cyan terracotta you'll bring both forward and backward by 1. From the edges of it, you'll go out diagonally left with a polished deep slate, and then out diagonally left again with a cyan terracotta. Go left by 2 from either, and then inward diagonally left with a polished deep slate, and then in diagonally left with a cyan terracotta. You'll connect the cyan terracottas together. On the outsides of the polished deep slate, you're going to just bring the cyan terracotta out, which will give you the old 7 by 7 square without the corners. It's my favorite. Underneath each cyan terracotta, you'll place an upside down polished deep slate slab. We'll worry about the blocks in a sec. Not quite yet, though. Then I guess you probably should actually bring these blocks down by 2, because they're going to be helpful, the polished deep slate blocks. Because off the bottom row of blocks, you're going to kind of replicate the upside down slab row with just regular slabs that are not upside down. I hate saying regular slabs because all slabs are technically regular, but I don't know. Surely you get the point, maybe, hopefully. Underneath each polished deep slate block, you're going to place a cobbled deep slate, like so. Extend that cobbled deep slate out in whatever direction will have an upside down slab kind of above the upside down stair that you'll be placing. These upside down stairs will just face away from the cobbled deep slate. It's pretty much the same pattern, or we're making the same pattern we have on the drum itself, because then you'll connect those upside down stairs together with cobbled deep slate. That's the wrong row. And so yeah, if you notice, it is the exact same circular pattern that we have below. I don't know what this part is, to be honest. It's cool though. It's got a nice design. You want to take the polished deep slate slab rows now in the inside of this, and just in the center row slabs, you're going to place a couple of polished deep slate walls on each row. And I'll extend them up by 1 so they're in line with the top cyan terracotta. Bring up the cyan terracotta, polished deep slate, and polished deep slate walls as far as you'd like. As now, the, I guess, minimum would be up to kind of these sticky outy gray concretes. You want it to be higher than the ceiling we're going to have. And so I'll bring it up to, like, there, I guess. Obviously, you can't really go too high because you do have that. Like, if I try to go higher, you'll see I'll run into that. But I think, like, there's reasonable about. I don't really know. It's up to you. Doesn't particularly matter. These void ones are going to be a lot of just, do whatever you want. But, yeah. Although, do keep in mind with that, if you do certain ones lower rather than higher, you will end up probably getting lower than the blocks I intended, because one of the lowest points, or the original lowest point when the tutorial started, that is no longer the lowest point, was a void, and it was the cave room. Now it's the, like, sewer and the mommy chest, but that could technically be higher, and I'll explain that more once we get to that area, and if I figure out a solution, but I don't think I will, because I kind of gave up on it. I did it on I was doing it on a Twitch stream one day, and I kept screwing up the structure blocking I was doing, so I just gave up. Anyway, you should have this. The top you can fill in with black concrete as well, of it. And that's where Bunzo will be. We'll make Bunzo later. He is actually here. He's the only one I made, funnily enough, but he's here, and he's cool. I guess that could also be a reason you don't want to make him, but that's not the point that... Whatever. So, remember the 2 gray concrete rows we placed above the walls that I mentioned were placeholders. Now it's time to use them both. You will take the gray concrete on the back and extend this furthest left one toward you with a polished deep slate. You'll go toward you, or I guess forward diagonally left, forward, forward diagonally left, forward, forward diagonally left, forward, and then forward diagonally left will hit you into a cyan terracotta. I gotta plug in my controller real quick, hold on. And yeah, you're gonna do the same thing from the other one, just, I guess it kind of is going in the same direction, but instead of going forward and left, it's back and right. So from this gray, you're gonna place a polished deep slate to the right. You'll bring it back diagonally right by 1, back 1, back diagonally right 1, back 1, back diagonally right 1, back 1, back diagonally right 1, and back 1. And if you do actually follow these through the cyan terracotta you have, you'll notice they line up perfectly, which is cool and awesome and epic. Everything to the right of this, which is the main portion, you're filling in the ceiling with polished diorite in line with the deep slate. we'll break some holes in this in a bit, and yeah, that'll get explained, I think, more later, but yeah. Yeah, this is kind of the, I guess, main thing. And do just kind of keep in mind where the wall is here on the front, right? Because I do realize we don't have a wall. And yeah. I guess basically the way you should know if you're filling in the right spot is, are the walls higher than you right now? And if they are, then you're in the wrong spot. As in the wool walls, not the like cyan terracotta cylinder in the center. That's Bunzo's home. I don't understand why it's like so high up. Like you just can't see the top. Because he's never that high anyway. Although I do feel bad for Bunzo because he's still alive. You can see him breathing in the game. So like how long has he just been strung there for? Poor guy. Anyway, you should have this now. Before we break the holes, I would advise doing the following. So, the row above the walls, you want to make it polished deep slate. The only exception is where the gray concrete pillars are, and you can get rid of your black concrete here and get back out gray concrete. Is just kind of, essentially the, like these gray concretes we placed as placeholders are going to be polished deep slate. Just on top of the walls you want polished deep slate, and I guess where there would be a wall here. And the gray concrete pillars themselves will be brought up higher than the polished diorite. When we make this little, I guess, cavern, you should be able to fit inside of it. That's my logic here. And yeah, it'll only be on these portions here, and again, I will also have to break this. And then each of those polished deep slates you can bring up by 2. The inner row you're just going to leave alone for now, because that needs to get brought up by more than 2, and you might as well just wait on it anyway, because what's the point of doing it now, you know? But yeah, it is up to you. I guess. We can't fill this in quite yet, unfortunately, but it is there. As for the rest of the polished deep slates, you'll want to bring them up by just 7, or I guess, nah, it's more than the other number, but whatever. And it should end up in line with the, like, red and yellow wool here. You should end up against the yellow concrete here. Yeah, we get real close to getting in the way of, like, 15 parts of the game station. I want to say Statues also has the same problem. Well, not problem, but it's, like, the wall of it that is, like, where it goes up, kind of. The game station is, like, just avoiding that one, too. And I have the reject room in the way of summoning a Statues as well, which is annoying, like, actually in the way. Anyway, you should have this. The upper ceiling here, a block above the height of the walls, you'll just fill in with stone. I didn't texture this. I didn't texture anything in the... Well, actually, Statues got textured. But I didn't texture Musical Memory here or Whack-A-Wuggy. Whack-A-Wuggy's reason is because it's all pixel art anyway, and I didn't really want to go about texturing the pixel art with other blocks because I thought it'd just throw it off. This, I just kind of applied the same logic of if I don't texture that minigame, I might as well not texture this one either. So, yeah. And Statues is kind of a little bit different because the walls are actually plain in it, unlike these. So yeah, that's my reason, slash excuse if you want to call it that. And yeah, that's really like the base room itself done. I want to do one more thing though before the end of the part, which is a fairly simple thing, I think. You can clear your inventory and get out tough bricks, polished tough, deep slate walls, or deep slate tiles, sorry, and deep slate tile walls. So I was right at least partially, just like a little bit off at the same time. And I guess that's all. Alternatively or optionally is what I was trying to say. Andesite walls. You probably should do these, but it's not necessarily required. So we'll start with the 2 weird pipes. And so if you head above the window, like right here, that leads currently outside, but it will lead to something later. What you want to do is you want to take the top 2 rows of red on this wall and extend each red wool out with 2 polished tough on this wall. Just like so. At the, like, front side here where this gray concrete diagonal is, that's very specific. The gray concrete that's, like, in the wall, you'll place 2 polished tough off that gray concrete, and then the one that sticks out, you'll just bring kind of forward by 1. And then all this can be brought up as well, or down, depending on if you started with the top row or not. But you should kind of have this. Just a big pipe. The other pipe is the funny guy. So, you want to take the, like, hole in the wall here. And so you want to place essentially 2 rows of deep slate tiles coming out of each portion where the wall is blank. It should start from the mud and go all the way up, and it's just, you know, a 2x2. Just like so. I would bring this up and through the top here, so, like, I'm going to break this polished diorite, and I'll probably leave it broken. And also break the diorite above it and just bring this up to the height of the polished deep slate. If you're looking at it, you'll take the right side, and this top yellow wool, actually, to the right of it, you'll, from this block, go right with 3 deep slate tile walls, and then again, you'll go all the way up through the polished diorite and to the top polished deep slate. There's one other thing I might want to just do, and it's the lighting, and also the camera. They're kind of 2 things that I feel like are just going to be easy, and we might as well get them out of the way. Get out end rods, polished black stone stairs, nether brick fence, and a dragon head. Still under 9. Let's go. So, I believe there's only 1 light in here, but let me just confirm real quick, because last time I thought that we were done with the lighting. We weren't. Yeah, okay. It is above the doorway here, kind of at the back right with the deep set tile stairs that we never actually use, but it's here. I really wish we did, I'm not gonna lie. You want to take the, like, red wool row above the front deep slate, or polished deep slate slab, rather. And if you just take the polished diorite at the top, you'll place an end rod off of it with an opposite on polished black stone stair facing left below that. Directing our attention left of the pathway here that we came in, you'll take the second 2 diagonal of gray concrete. This is the first one, this is the second one. And take the, I guess, right block of it and extend down with 6 nether brick fence. You'll have a dragon head off the right side of the end one. There's a gap there, but it's fine. Vent will be a problem next part. There are really 2 minor things I want to talk about as we end here. You can break into the polished diorite. We'll probably end up breaking, or we will end up breaking some anyway. And just above this second row of polished deep slate, you're going to fill in the ceiling of this in with tough bricks. Again, still no texturing, because this room is kind of before I really... Well, I guess no, I decided fairly early on to start texturing a lot. But this is before I textured literally every room. I actually, other than Whack-A-Woogie, don't think there's a single untextured room after this. So yeah, there's that. If anybody wants that information, it's there for you. Yeah, I kind of textured a lot in this map. A couple people in the Discord have joked about it too, as I've been texturing the Playtime co-exterior and stuff like that. Yes, the texturing, and in some of the streams, if you guys have been seeing those where I was working on Playtime code, that was actually yesterday, the day of recording this, when I was doing that in part of the Chapter 1 revamp. Anyway, you should have this. So, the next step is just breaking, like, various polished diorites wherever you want. There's no right or wrong way to do this. It's the same as we did, like, way early on in this. The only difference is we don't have the trapdoors hanging down. So, yeah, or the stairs, I guess, rather, the stairs there. It ends up changing to trapdoors later on. That's what I was thinking that for. But yeah, just as many as you really want. Some of these we'll probably have to fill in later when we do the, like, things hanging down, because they do hang on some polished diorites. But yeah, it is up to you for sure. I would maybe just leave like a couple around here, just like 1 row around most of it. I like that one's broken, but who cares? I'll break one here too. Leave the gray concrete alone. I guess that's really it. And then up here you can just place whatever configuration of andesite walls to create pipes. Again, connect it down wherever, bring it across wherever, do whatever with it. Just like kind of to get a feel for it. So if you look up there, you would be able to see pipes had I placed them over the holes properly. But yeah, it is really up to you how many pipes and how you make them. You could use slabs, you could use different blocks. It's all personal preference. There's no way to do it that is correct necessarily. But like you'll see here, now you can kind of start to see them through some of the holes. They're not great. Like I would love one here, definitely. But yeah, you know, just make sure you have something up there going on. It's not like a huge detail, so if you really don't want to waste your time on it, don't, because I'm not going to on this version. Again, everything I wasted my energy for in the original, so I ain't doing all that twice, you know? Anyway, that's the end of this part. that's where I'm gonna end this video, I guess. Or that's once you're done that, ladies and gentlemen, that is part 24 of Poppy Playtime Chapter 2 complete. I went through like 3 different phrases there before I finally got the right one. Thank you guys. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. Hopefully in 25 we'll be able to finish Musical Memory along with maybe the vent. Why am I lagging so bad on my alt? Oh my god. We'll be able to see or do the vent heading up to Reject Room because that'll just be cool to get done. And anyway, with that being said, have a fantastic rest of your day or night, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.